goes inside, that one goes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I get the benefit of, we get to do 3 patterns today and not just one. We're gonna start out with the L1 pattern, and then do the 13 and under and the 14 through 18. So I'll go through this pattern, kind of talk about what I would do to have my horse prepared, how I want to execute that pattern, my pattern placement, and then we'll take some questions about this pattern after I'm done while they set up the next one and so on. Don't be shy. Maybe somebody next to you is too shy to ask the question, so step up there and ask, and that way everybody gets more information, and we'll try to give you as much information as we can. All right, so this pattern starts out, you just walk a straight line. When I set this up, I'm gonna walk into a trotting serpentine. When I set this up, I'm gonna stay away from my fence at all times. So when I get over onto the right side fence, I wanna be far enough away that those judges can see me. But also, even as I start out, I want to exhibit to those judges my horse can make a straight line on his own. He doesn't need the wall. He doesn't need the wall as security. So I'm gonna stay out away from that and not use that wall. And hopefully that they'll think of that as I've upped my degree of difficulty and help my score get higher, okay? So I'm gonna start that out. Before I came in here, I looked at this arena and I looked at my pattern and I picked some focus points that I can use to know when to turn for some of my turns, where I wanna place my lead change and some of those things. So I'm not just out here, especially if I get draw 1. After draw so many, it's gonna look like a road out here and it's pretty easy to follow everybody's tracks. But the first 5 or 6 are gonna have to make their own decision. And in that too, just because there's 10 horses in front of you win a certain way, if you don't agree with where they went, make your own tracks, that's okay. That's one of the things I like about this class is you can interpret this pattern and pattern placement, and you don't have to go to that cone and make that transition right on that cone. You can show your horse off where you need to and know what their strong suits are and their weaknesses are, and be confident when you go in there. That's one of the biggest things. Showing these horses is so much more of a mind game and where you're ready to go. So make sure when you're in the warm-up pen, you've got those horses ready to go. Don't spend too much time talking to your friend or your sister, your brother, and then all of a sudden it's your turn. Make sure your horse is physically and mentally ready to go. So I walked out here a little further than probably we would start, but we'll walk up here and I've got to go from a walk to a trot. And I want to stay nice and straight. About that smart pack sign is where I pick to make my turn. Make another right turn. These turns I want to make as much of a sharp turn as I can. I don't want it to be soft and looping and showing my horse doesn't guide. I want to show up the fact that my horse does guide. So I'm going to come up here. When I looked at my pattern, that pattern runs right beside those logs. And so I'm going to set myself up that I'm right beside those logs, and I want to show off that my horse can make a nice straight line. So as I trot up here and then pick up my left lead, I don't want that horse wiggling all over. I don't want to have to push his haunches all over to show that off if my horse can do that. If your horse needs a little help picking up that left lead and you need to push him over there more, okay. But I'm going to gain some points the straighter I can stay. So in my pattern, I pick up my left lead right here just before the logs. Again, I'm kind of staying off of my wall so that I'm the one guiding my horse. I'm going to come in a diagonal line to change leads here. Again, I want to get my horse nice and straight. I'm going to think about setting him up. On my pattern, it shows me just past those logs off to my left is where my change is. I asked my horse to change. He changed nice and straight, exactly what I needed him to do. Come deep down into this end. As I make this corner, I'm going to extend my lope. I need to make a definite change and show that off. Get here to the middle of the arena and ask my horse to go to a long trot. We can post that or stand up. About halfway to my logs, I'm going to ask him just to trot. Again, stay nice and straight. I'm going to look past my logs. I don't want to look at my logs. That's one of the mistakes we make a lot. Is we'll look down at those logs, and sometimes our body language causes that horse to lose their impulsion in their step. And so look up and get past those logs. Okay? Then we come down here to a stop. And I can pick if I do a 360 to the left or the right. And so according to my horse and what my horse understands and how I've been training it, I'll make those decisions. I ride a lot of reining on my ranch riders, and so sometimes if I came down in this situation right here, they might anticipate rolling back to the left. So I might pick that I'm going to do my 360 to the right first, just nice and smooth. Would like to be right on 360. I don't want to be a step over or a step behind. I want to stop right here, nice and square. I want this to be fluid. It doesn't have to be blind and fast, but I don't want it to look laborsome. I think the key to ranch riding, if you just picked one word, would be smooth. You want everything to be smooth. So how can you ask in those cues to get the softest, smoothest answer from your horse? Okay? So 360 right, 360 left, or whichever direction you pick. Walk off in a nice straight line. Walk far enough to show this horse off. I don't want to just walk a couple steps. I want to walk enough to show him off. I want a good forward gait, come to a stop, and ask him to back up at least 10, 12 feet. Okay? I want a nice energetic walk, or an energetic back up. I don't want to have to wrestle with him. That's my biggest thing. A lot of times I think we get in a hurry and we get to pulling on him and demanding more, and then we're just wrestling with him. If I can back this horse up where he's moving his feet and he's nice and fluid on a nice soft terrain, I would rather have that than try to speed him up, get his head up in the air, and find resistance. Okay? So nice and smooth, and take your time. Make your straight line straight, and where you've got to make those sharp corners on that serpentine, make them definite and sharp and show your horse off. Okay? We got any questions on that? And we'll kind of answer some questions. I can run it again if you have to. If not, we're just going to set it for the next pattern. So that either says you guys are super smart, or we did a great job on that because nobody's raising their hand. Okay, that'll be the first. I've done a few of these, and this is the first time I haven't got a question at the end. So I either really baffled you, or we were really good, one of the two. Okay. Okay. All right. So while we're waiting for this to get done, these girls up here are going to be walking along with their sign for you to take a picture of with your phone and donate to the crisis fund. And they have buckets for donations, so it's kind of like church. And this really does help a great program that AQHA and the professional horsemen have. And Nutrena matches everything that you give here. Nutrena will match. And so far I know they must have been the horsemanship clinic, I think they told me, they raised $2,300. So that's a pretty big number for us to try to beat. This group here, we can do better than the horseman or showmanship guys, can't we?
It's a competition.
Are you guys awake? Yeah. So anything you can give really helps those guys out. It was amazing to hear that they'd given $40,000 last year. That's a lot of money to help out people who need it. All right. So really quickly, so I don't goop this up, let me glance at this pattern really quick. My wife says I don't multitask, but I'm riding a horse I haven't ever rode before and talking on a microphone and doing this pattern. I wish she was watching this. Okay, I'll do my best to remember this. I might have to stop halfway through and relook at it again, but we'll start out. Okay, so once again, we walk up here in a straight line. We want to hit these logs as straight as we can with good forward motion. Keep my eyes up and look past these logs. Some horses vary, some of them I'll stay set down on if they're a little bit too quick. Some of them I might put weight in stirrups and stand up a little bit to go over those logs because it helps them have that impulsion. Whatever your horse needs, find that thing that helps him get over that maneuver the best. Once we walk over this, we pick up a trot. I want to make sure I do this little pin. I do this long enough to kind of show this horse off. Pick up a right lead, nice and straight. Good, kind of round this around. Start on a straight diagonal line. Right here in the middle, I'm going to ask my horse to come to a long trot. Again, we can stand up in the stirrups, post, whatever your horse prefers. And trot. Left lead. Take this down past center. Nice straight change to a right lead. Right before the corner, I pick up to an extended lope. Take this all the way around and down. Trot. Trot in here past center. Stop. And back. Once again, we'd like all that to be smooth and fluid. And then I can pick which direction I take 360. In between those two, I'm going to let my horse pause just enough that I don't make things look fractious. But I also don't want to camp out and take forever and make it look like it takes forever for my horse to respond. Okay? Whatever it takes for my horse to look smooth. The quicker I am at that, the more degree of difficulty I bring out. So maybe it'll help my score, but if I'm too quick with my hand and I show resistance, then my score is going to go down. Okay? So once again, we want to keep it fluid and smooth. Okay? So that's a little more hectic than the first pattern because I was didn't have it quite as memorized. Everybody get the gist of what that pattern was? Do we have any questions on that one? Are you guys awake? Yeah, we have one question. How far apart are the logs? The question was asked, how far apart are the logs? And these logs are 28 inches apart. Yep. Anybody else? Yeah. Hang on. Yeah.
Can you explain to us your best idea of a credit earning simple lead change versus flying change?
Okay. So the question was asked, a description of a credit earning simple lead change compared to a flying lead change. So credit earning is going to be that they literally come down for a stride and pick up, so that is dun, dun, and pick up the new one, the new lead, okay? And I don't want to see any resistance. I don't want to see that horse toss his head. I don't want him to look lazy about it and kind of lose all his impulsion and have to get it gathered back up. So it's not as easy as it sounds to do a credit earning simple lead change, okay? But for some of our horses that they're going to show us more resistance in a flying lead change, maybe the simplest way to go, okay? And for these horses to do, we're supposed to be practicing transitions up and down all the time. So a simple lead change should really be easy for them because we just sit down, break them down to a trot, pick up the new lead, okay? But it's got to happen quickly. They can't trot, 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 okay? And it needs to be smooth. All right, I think we had somebody down here with another question. Yes. So they've been asked me to ride the pattern again, and I will happily do that. And I thought we had another question down here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the reminder to walk before I back. Anybody else? Okay, so we'll go try to run this again. No, we're going to run it one more time. Okay, nice straight line, looking at the middle of those logs. I'm going to pick my eyes up and look more at the announcer's booth as I go past here. Kind of push my hand forward and let this horse pick his way across. Remember what my next thing was? Trot, I believe. Yep, pick up a trot. I want a nice energetic trot. Pick up my right lead. Good, I like how my horse is just carrying me. He's not trying to speed up, he's not trying to slow down. Right here in the center, I'm gonna ask him to come to a trot, long trot, extended trot. Down to a trot. Right on that corner, I pick up a left lead. Past center here, I'm going to ask for a change of leads. Right in this corner, we extend this. And then collected lope. Whoops, took that down a little too far. Trot. And walk. Stop. Back. And a 360 either direction. Stop square. Right into a turn to the left. Stop square. Okay. Hopefully that was not thoroughly confusing the second time around. We did remember to walk before we stopped and backed up. Okay. Yeah. You guys got any questions on that? Okay. Hopefully the girls are still going around with the bucket and the sign, and you guys are helping out with the crisis fund.
Nutrena, our great corporate partner, Nutrena, national. You can do it, Tim. You can do it. The record will be up there. QR code will be up there. If you give us 50 cents, it turns into $1. If you give us 20, it turns into 40. So we really, really appreciate it. Our great power crew is changing the logs for us. We appreciate them very much. Want to do a little bit more housekeeping. Right after this will be the run pattern for tomorrow. The exercise schedule, we've got a 3-hour block. I just want to remind everyone here, this class has grown so much. The ranch classes are so popular. It's one of the programs that is in our department that I oversee, and we're really proud of our ranching program. And the ranch riding has grown so much, we have about 150 tomorrow, which is super. We'll have a shootout tomorrow, if you're not sure about that. You can ask us more.
Thanks.
Basically, that means
Other dimensions on there if they ask.
straight to the final.
We are at 42 and then 28 off for the walk.
Okay, thanks.
You get a chance to ride the pattern one more time in the same working order, and the top 5 of those will also advance to the finals. The only difference is your top 15 plus ties goes back, your top 20 plus ties goes to the shootout, but from the shootout, only 5 will advance. No ties will be taken. So there's a tiebreaker judge and there's a tiebreaker system, but only 5, so we'll have basically 20 plus ties for the finals. So congratulations to all of you who are here. It's a big class. We're excited to have you here. Your warm-up schedule will be the first hour will be the first 50 in the draw. Second hour will be 51 through 100. And the last hour will be one. Sorry about that, my phone's shut off. Draws 101 to 144. So just please, it is a little bit on the honor system. We've got spirits down here monitoring some, but we ask you to just be a little bit respectful of that, and hopefully that gives everyone a chance to practice equally. And we wish everyone luck. And now we're going to turn this back over to Shane. Shane.
Thanks, Karen. One of the things that I think in that warm-up she was just talking about, we don't have to come in here and do the exact pattern when we practice tonight. You need to come in here and find your pattern placement, where are those marks on the wall that are going to help you to know when you make your transition or your turn or whatever the case may be. Figure that stuff out and work the parts. You don't, you can go do your transitions anywhere in the arena. You don't have to make them right there at that spot. And a lot of times it gets really crowded in here at night, and everybody's trying to go the same direction, and everybody's trying to lope in the same spot, and it just gets too, you get frustrated and go, I couldn't even ride my horse. Well, all you've got to do is come in here and work the parts. You need to go work on something. There's other arenas here you can go work on more. So if it gets too crowded, find a more open space to go fix on your horse and get well prepared. Don't let the crowd kind of frustrate you. And don't feel like you've got to do that lead change in the same spot everybody else is. You just have to work on the parts just like you do at home. This is just another horse show. I know it is the world show, but it's still just another horse show. So treat it that way, both for you mentally and your horse physically and mentally. Okay? So we'll see if we can get through this one without too many goof ups. Okay, we're going to walk up here to a side pass. I want to get stopped, and this is probably one of the places I see the most mistakes in the ranch riding is in the side pass. A lot of times we get our front feet too close to the log, and that's because we're putting it to our perspective, not the horse's perspective. I feel like, and I teach my students, that I want that log to kind of be underneath my back cinch, okay? And that way I can hopefully keep my front feet from getting too close to that log. I'm going to look in the direction I'm going to travel and ask that horse to work all the way off the end of that log, okay? These logs aren't that long, and I want to be able to show off my side pass to the right as well, okay? So I'm going to come off of that log. Probably if I was showing, I might have taken another step. But also, if my horse isn't good at this, I'm going to take it easy. Probably just come to the end of the log, take my couple steps to the right, and stay out of trouble. That's not going to gain me any points, but I won't lose any points, okay? And I'm going to look to the right, ask my horse to come back to the middle of the logs, let him stop and pause for just a second before I ask him to walk forward, look up, walk off of here, get clear of those logs, and pick up a long trot. Really would like him to make a nice straight line all the way around to the middle of the arena down here by these gates. I'm going to sit down and ask him just to trot. I want that nice and smooth. I would like my horse to be respectful and shouldn't take a lot to make him listen. Right there, he kind of lost his attention. When I asked him to stop, I kind of had to pick up and pull on him. That's going to be kind of more of a deduction because he wasn't right there with me. When I get done, once again, here's our 360 stuff, just like the other patterns. And I typically am going to pick to the right. That doesn't mean you have to. Your horse, for some reason, may need to go to the left better, and then the right, okay? That's the other thing to think about is at the end of this, I'm going to have to pick up a right lead. So after turning to the left, I need to make sure my horse's body is in position to pick up that right lead. So for some of us, I may stop here, do a 360 to the left, and then to the right, so that as I come out of that right turn, my horse is kind of thinking right, and I'm already ready for that right lead, okay? Whatever you guys are, for your horses is the best. After we do that, we pick up the right lead. Nice straight line down here to the corner. Pick up an extended lope around this end. On a diagonal, right about the middle line, I'm going to ask this horse to collect. I want to show that off into a change. Right before this corner, I'm going to come to a walk. Pick up my left lead right here about the center. Go about to this, back to the center of my arena and ask my horse for a long trot again. Easy. Right on that corner, I should have come to a trot. Stop. And back. Let me do that again so I can show you where to make that transition where it's more correct at the very end of there. So I come down across on my diagonal on an extended trot. And I'm going to sit down here and ask for a trot. Around this corner, nice straight line, definitely past the center line, nice balance stop, smoothly into a backup. Okay. Okay. Ranch riding classes are on Sunday, but practice is tonight. Okay? Karen's got a lot on her plate, so she misspoke, which we'll forgive her for that. Practices for level 3 are tonight, correct? Right, Karen? Level 3 is tonight. Yes. Anybody else? Is everybody being shy? Yeah. So the logs are 28 inches apart, and I believe it's 48. It says on your pattern, you can look that up on your phone, the exact inches, but I think it's 48 from the first one to the second one, and the rest of them are 28 apart. Okay? Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you guys very much. Thank you for what you donated for the Crisis Fund. Thank you for your time. I think it's good of you guys to come and watch these ride the patterns and pick up any information you can. We're happy to do that for you. The AQHA professionals are. And thank you for your time, and good luck to all you guys.